Alright, in order to work with Denise and AutoHotkey, you're going to have to understand how she works, and you're going to have to learn a little bit of AutoHotkey. This is the very most basic GUI that I could create that give you access to Denise's chat window. Talking into this GUI is just like talking into wherever she is. It's just like talking into this window. So every time Denise starts, she generates a key, and it's you have to bring that key back in a variable. So in order to get that key each time, you have to feed her your username and password, the one that you start her with, in order to bring back that key. And we could actually see what that key is here in this one. If I type a message box here, and then I put in that variable, the variable is right here, var1. That's what I'm getting, the inner text from this Internet Explorer application. I navigated it to her API function to get the key. And we're going to display what the key is right here. Now, the very first time you start her, she's going to ask for that username and password. She's going to generate a settings any. And this way it keeps track of your username and password, and you don't have to keep doing it every time you restart Denise to get a new key. So I'll show you what that key looks like here. This is the current key that she has generated during this cycle that she's running. So you have to have that key in order to access any other API functions. Now, if you didn't have that settings, this is what you're going to experience, because you're not going to have that settings any. When you activate it, you have to type in your name and then your password, and then I still have that message box in there. And then you have this. Now if Dragon is on, it would pick up the words and feed it to her input box. I'll just type in hi.
I'm glad you are back. I don't like to be here all by myself.
So you see how that works. Now let's go on with it a little bit. Now that we've got that, I'm going to leave that message box, but I'm going to comment it out. If you have trouble, this is how you troubleshoot the script. You put a message box in, and you expect to see a key when that message box pops up. When you don't want the message box, you just put a comma in front of it, and the script will ignore it. Anything a comma is in front of, the script ignores. So right now it's going to ignore that, and then it's going to quit that instance of Internet Explorer. Here it generates the GUI. You'll have to read up on GUIs, but this sets the color, this sets the font, sets the color of the inner part of the window. This is the edit box. This right here, GUI move, this is over speak so that you can move the GUI. And then we go into a loop. Now in the loop, you can comment this out and you can type in stuff, and it'll wait until you hit the enter key before it goes on to Denise. If you don't want to have Dragon on, you can't type fast enough for it to suck up the words, so you uncomment that, and then you have to push enter for the words to go on to Denise. It clears it gets the text from it. It looks to see if it is not equal. Exclamation marks mean not. If it's not equal to nothing, that means there's something in it, and it goes to label 1. Else it just sleeps 10. As soon as it does have something, it's going to go sub-label 1. We create another instance of Internet Explorer, and then we clear that field of words so it resets it back to nothing, and then we send that variable to the chat function. This is another API function, but we send var1 with it because you have to send that key, and then you send var2, which is the words that were actually captured up here in the edit box. And once it does that, it returns back to the loop. And it does this over and over and over. This is just a little Windows message, so it allows the GUI to move. And this is the script part for the input box. And you can always Google input box AutoHotkey and learn all about that kind of stuff. Now that looks kind of complicated. What I did was I turned all of these into functions. These are the functions that I had created. And these functions exist already in here. So if you include this file, like in this one, this is what we've evolved to now. I include this file up here. I don't run it, I just include it. So anytime I call a function, it looks into that file for the function and does it. So now we've turned everything we had over here in this, we've turned it into this. GetKey takes care of your entire login. And we still create the same GUI, we still do the same loop, but when it jumps to label 1, we clear the text and we just use the response function, and then it returns. So study on that a little bit. I'll leave you this file here to play with, and let me know what you think.